Hey everyone, I didn't think I'd be doing this video. I thought I said 95% of everything I have to say about hard flaccid in those two videos, how to recover from it, the steps you have to take. It's all there. However, so many people have been asking for this. So many people want to know what my hard flaccid story is, how I got it, what my symptoms were, what the timeline of my recovery was. How it looked like as I progressed in my recovery, that I feel like it'd be wrong of me at this point to not make this video. So here you guys go. I'm sure you guys can relate a lot to this story, and there's probably going to be a lot of parallels with your story and how you got hard flaccid. I'm going to really stress and emphasize some things I did in my recovery that I think set back my progress. I recovered within 18 to 20 months. It was really 18 months. 20 months was kind of like that definitive, okay, I know for a fact I'm 100% cured of this. And I really think I could have probably recovered within 9 to 13 months if I avoided doing some certain things. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to do this for you because you guys have been asking for it, and yeah, I really feel like it'd be wrong of me to deny you guys this. If you guys want some extra hard flaccid content, because I don't think I'll make any more hard flaccid videos beyond this one. I don't want to be a hard flaccid channel. I don't want to I've spoken on 95% of what I have to say about this condition. The remaining 5% is on my Patreon, which is free for everyone. I'm never going to paywall anything relating to hard flaccid in this condition there. Like, everything is free to the public on there. Anything that I feel like relates to this condition that I haven't got off my chest is posted on there. I think you guys will really like the order of adding stuff post, the how to reduce frequency of wet dreams post, because wet dreams really flared me up. You guys will hear in my story. And some of the mental health stuff to cope with the condition and kind of relax yourself and reduce pelvic floor tension. All that's on there. If you want to work with me one-on-one, that's also on there. It is expensive. I did price it at a point where it's respectful of like my time, because I do put a lot of effort when I am working with someone. I have one guy working with me right now, and I send him like 20 minutes of audio anytime he sends me a message, because we messaged on WhatsApp, so I always send him voice recordings as like my answer to his questions. And yeah, just always, I'm not even planning for it. It always works out to like 20 minutes of audio because I ramble a lot. But yeah, if you want, that's on there too. But yeah, guys, this is my story and how I got hard flaccid. Alright, I think what you guys have to understand before I get into like what my first symptom of hard flaccid was is what led into hard flaccid, because it's a very multifaceted condition in my opinion. There were a lot of habits that led me to it. And it first kind of started with me being a pot smoker in my teenage years. I was a huge pot smoker. Started very young at 15, and then 16. I distinctly remember this. My first time I ever edged, where I didn't have pot to smoke one night, and I went through my parents' medicine cabinet and found like some old Vicodin that my older brother had for a surgery that he did on his back because he like messed it up deadlifting or something like that. I took like 1.5 pills, very low dose, didn't feel anything. And then so what happened was, since I didn't feel anything, I was like, okay, I guess I'll just fap, you know, like I'm not high off weed. I didn't get high off the Vikes, and so I was searching for a high, so I fapped. And the thing about painkillers that some of you might know is that it kind of like numbs your sensual pleasure. So like people can last for hours on it, which is what happened to me, and I had no idea about this at the time. So I was fapping, and I realized like I was not getting aroused to the point where I felt like I could finish. I felt like I could just keep going and going and going. And what ended up happening was, for the first time in my life, I fapped for like 4 hours at once. And I remember this, guys. I was like, holy cow. Because at the time, the longest fap session I'd have was maybe like 10 minutes. You know, I was always a guy who, uh, like, I finished quick, you know, especially if I had like a 2 week break or something like that. Because I discovered NoFap also very early. Same thing, about 15 years old. And so if I had a streak of like 2 weeks to like 2 months and then got back into it, I could finish in like 30 seconds, right? So 4 hours to me, I was like mind blown. But I didn't at the time connect that it was me taking the Vicodin to me being able to fap for 4 hours. And this is all key. I'm telling you all, guys, this because this was a key component in my journey. So it unlocked in me this idea, both in my mind and probably deep in my subconscious, that, hey, I fapped for more than like 10 minutes. I can probably do that again. And obviously I couldn't do it because I didn't take like the Vicodin after that. And yeah, so I just obviously finished within like 30 seconds to 10 minutes. However, when I got into my senior year, I was able to like push it a little, where I'd come home from school. My younger brother had practice for track that I quit the year earlier, stupidly, for like other reasons, not because of fapping and stuff. And so I had the house to myself because my mom was at work, my dad was at work, my older brother was at college. And so like I had like an hour grace period where I'd go on the computer, and this was on my little bro's computer too, right? Which is makes this all more messed up because I didn't have my own personal computer at the time. Yeah, no, I don't think I had or it was like downstairs or something. I don't remember. But this was what, 2014. I was a senior in high school. And during this time, like Tumblr was kind of like before Instagram really popped off. I don't know when Instagram came, 2012 or something. Tumblr was kind of like the go-to place. And I remember distinctly, guys, there was this site called like peacepacks.tumblr.com, where the guy who ran that page curated that page to like show like models, Instagram models, like the earliest Instagram models and like strippers. And he curated the page really well for if you were trying to fap. Like he had like actual categories that would be like I don't know, like big butt or like Latina, stuff like that. And you could click multiple categories too. So I went ham on that site, right? And again, usually I was a guy to finish very quickly. But that site kind of unlocked the dark side in me, where I was slowly dragging out the faps. Because to click through and to search, like I didn't have a free hand, but I'd be like kind of... and I'm sorry, guys, this is all going to be slightly vulgar in this video. It is what it is. I got to explain to you guys like everything in detail. So again, I apologize for the vulgarity. But I'd be stroking probably with my left hand, clicking with my right, going through stuff. And I realized slowly over time, I was dragging out a fap to like 20 minutes, then one time 30. I remember the first time it was like a 40-minute fap. I was like, holy cow, I fapped for 45 minutes. This is getting insane. Like I gotta like stop myself. Obviously I didn't. And then that continued for about a year. When I entered college is really where things went downhill, and where I'm starting like hard flaccid is going to come soon. Because when I got into college, and I thought I was a genius for this at the time, I set up my schedule that all my classes were on 2 days. So I had a full schedule. I just set it to Monday and Wednesday. So I had Tuesday off and then Thursday through Sunday. And I thought like it was so smart because it's like, oh, I'll only go to school 2 days a week. Because I didn't have a car at the time, so my dad would take me in the morning before he went to work, and then my mom would pick me up when I got out of my last class. So it did work in terms of like the logistics aspect of it. But in terms of like setting myself up, when by this point, if I'm being real, I was addicted to masturbation. I was addicted to pornography. I just didn't realize it until it was later, and kind of yeah, I just didn't realize it till later. So what ended up happening was, since I had Monday and Wednesday off, Tuesday, like, I was good, right? But Thursday comes, and Thursday is like, I have what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 4 days completely off until I go back to school. I could be a total recluse, antisocial hermit, not see my friends if I wanted to, not have to go to class, like, again, class till Monday starts. So to me, that lended itself for me to like have a crazy fap session, which is essentially what happened. So on Thursdays, I would fap for like an hour, then it bumped up to 2 hours, and then it started to become like a regular like 3 hour fap session. And obviously I was sore. I'd need like a few days to recover, but again, that's where the schedule came in handy, because I had those days off. And then, especially after like a long edging session like that, I kind of felt like drained, even like beyond, like just like I wouldn't be able to talk to girls at school or something. So that's why I was kind of like, yeah, like this schedule is perfect. But really it ended up messing me up. So I kept with that until I turned about 18 and a half. And I start to notice slowly, guys, very slowly, that over time I'm like, okay, I'm like kind of in pain after these fap sessions, and my dick is not turning back to normal. It's kind of getting into this what we all call like the turtling in, where it's kind of in this like it like gets smaller while it's flaccid. It's more kind of rigid, it looks uneven. Like, you guys all know what I'm talking about, just that turtling state. So I'm getting that. I'm also getting the worst part of all of this is I'm getting this urinary issue where usually I was always a good sleeper, never had issues with sleeping. Hell, I remember one time too, when I was 18, like before this all progressed, I went to like business class and I told my buddy, like, dude, I slept for 16 hours, and everyone in class kind of heard that, and the teacher heard that, and he's like, what, 16 hours? So yeah, I never had an issue sleeping until this thing like started to really come on again, about half a year after turning 18. So in the timeline, about like a year and a half of me developing an edging habit that got worse and worse, that got kick-started from me taking the Vicodins, because it made me realize like how long I can fap and the pleasure of fapping for that long. You know what I mean? So yeah, 18 and a half. I started to notice, like, when I was sleeping around the 6 hour mark, I always distinctly at the 6 hour mark, I like was forced out of sleep, waking up, because the bottom of my belly, pretty much that bladder area, like right above your pelvis, the bottom of your belly, that thing burned. Like, that burned so bad, and I had to use a restroom, would piss out like a ton and feel relieved, but I couldn't go back to sleep after that. So I knew something was going wrong. And I remember too having a nightmare one night. I had a nightmare where I was in my backyard, and I looked at this like slug kind of monster thing, and I looked at that thing, and this is all kind of disturbing, and again, sorry for the vulgarity, but I looked at that thing and was like, that's my penis, that's what it's becoming. Because again, it looked like a slug like thing that I kind of in my mind in the dream thought it was like the turtling state of my penis that the hard flaccid gives. And I was like, this is gonna be my fate if I don't stop. And that could have been a turning point for me in all of this, where I could have took that very seriously, stopped, and I probably would have been good within like 2-3 months, and never had hard flaccid, never had to gone through all this BS. It's sad, guys, because even though I recovered from hard flaccid, I still look back at 18 years old and be like, if I didn't get involved with some things, the whole trajectory of my life could have been different if I never got hard flaccid, you know? So I'm very sentimental and kind of nostalgic for 18 years old, even though it was a good year of my life, but it's not the best year. I had better years, like 17 was more fun. 14 years old was probably like my favorite year of my life. It was just super social. But yeah, I look back at 18 years old and think I have it's like a before hard flaccid in the after hard flaccid of my life. In the after hard flaccid, I felt like things got a lot more darker, which I'm gonna get into. But yeah, man. So it started with I saw the turtling of the penis. I had a pain after fapping, which lasted from pretty much till the end of that day. But usually my fapping was at night, and it hurt bad. Wake up the next day, or no, through sleep, I noticed I'd get no boners. My penis was completely dead. Wake up in the morning, it'd still be dead. Wake up out of sleep, because I had that burning pain in my bladder area. Pee, have that bladder area, feel relieved, but my penis was still dead for like about a day. And so I continued with this cycle until I think I turned like 19-ish. The edging just continued. Sessions got to consistently 3 hours, because before I was like 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. Now they were like always like 3 hours. So every symptom I had just intensified. And then the fapping had to be dialed back, in the sense that if I had a 3-hour session and it was like really bad, I needed 3 days to 2 weeks off for me to even fap without any pain, because it was like I was getting to the point where it was like the actual like skin of my penis would just hurt so much just to stroke it, like even a tiny bit. So I just completely stopped for 3 to 2 weeks, and I was in this kind of feast and famine cycle of addiction, if you guys are familiar with that, where it's like you binge, you have like a cool down period, then you binge again. Then so I continue with that pretty much till I was 21. Was that style of fapping. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself, because there's things that I got to talk about where, yeah, at 19 was, I felt like a real big shift in my life, and I credit it to like the edging, the hard flaccid. I got very angry. Like I'm a very mellow guy. I'm a very like I love my friends. I love people, and like during this time, I started fighting with friends, which is very uncharacteristic of me. Like it wouldn't be in person, but over text. Like I'd read something that maybe I didn't necessarily agree with them, or I thought it was kind of like dumb or something, and I just flipped my shit. You know, it was very strange behavior. Like I was not afraid to text them and be like, what are you talking about? And over time, like my friends started to notice, like, dude, what is like wrong with you? Why are you like this, you know? And at the time they thought it was painkillers, because when I was 19, I started working at my college bookstore, and there was a coworker who was older who had access to like oxys and stuff. And so that fed into HF too, because I'd take the oxys after like a fap session where I was in extreme pain, numb all the pain. Okay, painkillers in general are just very good for killing pain. So it'd kill any pain, like especially the stronger stuff like oxys. It'd kill any pain that I got from hard flaccid, which kind of reinforced the addiction cycle of like when you get like pain that bad after an edging session with hard flaccid, it's kind of like a natural. It forces you to stop, you know, because it's kind of like, I do not want to experience that pain again. So for me to shut off the body's natural ability to feel that pain, it just reinforced the cycle of like, okay, I'm in pain, I'll just pop an oxy, get high, also feel pain-free. And then that pain-free does kind of carry over for a few days. Like especially if I took a dose to get high, like that carries over for at least like 3 days, which would naturally kind of be my recovery off like an edging session anyway. So again, it just fed into the whole hard flaccid like progression of, or descent into it getting worse, my mental state getting worse, me being pissed off. Like, dude, I go to school, and you guys know how it is in college. There are tons of beautiful girls there. Girls are very receptive, or like open to like talking to you and like smiling at you. Girls would smile at me, and I like look the other way and like almost be triggered that they're trying to connect with me, because I was in pain. I was sleep deprived from this condition because again it messed with my sleep because of the urinary issues. I wore jeans at the time which were slightly tighter, and so to sit in class I'd be in so much pain. I like eventually, this is years later, I actually had to like find specific pants to wear so that I wouldn't be in pain when I'm sitting down like at a desk at work, you know? So yeah, 19 was kind of where everything 18 and a half is when I got it. 19 is when it escalates and kind of carries over into 20. I transferred to university here in the United States. Some people, such as myself, I start off in community college for 2 years and then transferred to university, which is, for you guys outside the States, it's like the real college, I guess. Like the actual college you go to where you live in a dorm, you're away from home. Yeah, like that type of thing. So I go to college. I still got this habit going. I still got hard flaccid. I'm still doing the 3-hour edging sessions, and it gets worse because I'll have like an edging session in college, and this is when my penis was actually like swelling up, like swelling up like a balloon. This is where it really started to worry me, guys, because like yeah, after a 3-hour session, and it wouldn't happen during the session, but like when I'd end the session, about like 5 minutes after, it'd swell up, it'd be red, sometimes purple, and it'd be lopsided. Because, for instance, during the edging session, like the friction and just the penis hurting, it like if I just from like my hand and my stroke method, like maybe one side, for instance, like the left side would hurt a lot during the session, so I'd kind of have to stop doing the left side and go to the right. Well, whatever section hurt a lot during the fapping section, that would like swell up even more. So it'd be like swollen and like kind of lopsided almost. So it'd be like more swollen on the left side, on like the upper left corner, than the bottom right. It was just pure disgusting. Like you would never, this is like an abomination of everything that's good if you were to ever see this, you know? And that happens to me maybe like 7 times or something, where I'd have to ask my roommate for, because I didn't have any pain medicine, but I'd ask him for like Advil because I knew it'd help with swelling. And that would help it like reduce down a lot over the course of like 3 hours. I said 7 times, but I actually don't know how many times I've like this happened to me, because it got to a point where my roommate was like, bro, you can just have like the rest of this bottle, like I'm not gonna use it. And like he didn't know I fapped or anything, but he probably knew something was up because I'd like waddle into his room because I'm like in so much pain, and like I'm not standing up straight because my pelvic area is just in so much pain. And he probably knew something was up, so he's just like, bro, just take the bottle, like let's stop asking me, like save yourself the embarrassment type of thing, you know? Like all of this is unsaid obviously, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that swelling was disgusting. It only happened that year. 4th year of college, I'm actually starting to reduce down the frequency of me like fapping, where yeah, it's probably like every 2 weeks now. It's still edging like 3 hours at a time, but sometimes I'm getting down to only 2 hours, sometimes 1. But yeah, it's like every 2 weeks. Like I'm starting to really push it out, not do like a crazy degenerate session and then do it again in 3 days. Like I'm really trying to wait like a full 2 weeks. And I was talking with my guy who I'm working with one-on-one, where I remember seeing this anime called Black Clover, if you guys are familiar, and something about like the show at the time, and there's and the show's intro and like the music, and then there was an episode number 2, which was titled A Young Man's Vows. Something about all of that just really spoke to me at the time, like after like a FAP session probably, where I was kind of like, you know, there's strength in a vow, especially like a young man who's built up this conviction. Because over time, through all of this, I was slowly building up this conviction of like, I gotta stop fapping. I gotta get my life together. I gotta stop putting myself in this hell that I'm in. Because really, I was putting myself there. I have no one to blame for any of this besides myself, you know? This was all on me. I take full responsibility for this. So I made a vow to myself. I said, I'm not going to fap like ever again. And I think I made it a few months. This was like the end of my senior year of college. Maybe like April-ish. Here in the States, we finished like mid-June. I think I made it a few months. I don't remember when I relapsed, but guys, the relapse was bad because I think when you make a vow and you fail at it, the loss is so much greater than if you hadn't done that. Like, there's power in a vow, but for you to break it, like, the fall from grace is so much worse. So I honestly do not recommend you guys make a vow to yourself, especially if you don't have like 110% conviction about something, because yeah, I fapped when I started working again. But again, they were relapses, I would consider them, because I wasn't regularly fapping anymore. This would be like maybe a month and a half off from each other I fap. But they were long sessions, guys. They were long sessions, like 4 hours. The absolute worst one that actually brought the hard flaccid to an even worse level was one time I did it 6 hours. Because when I started working, I immediately jumped into a career where I was working like 60 hours a week. And so I was working Saturday mornings even. And one time we had a 3-day weekend. We had a holiday off, Monday off. And when you work like Saturdays and your Saturday becomes your Friday, but then your Sunday isn't a true Saturday because you have to go back to work on Monday, like, you never feel like you fully reset, right? And then, so I had the holiday off, and this kind of goes back into the idea of like when I was 18 and a half and had 4 days off till I went back to school, right? So I get off work on Saturday and knew I had time to recover, and like if I did damage to myself, it'd be like, oh, well, I have that Monday off, you know? This is all being internalized like on a subconscious level, because I'm not consciously thinking these thoughts, right? Like, oh, I can fap on Saturday because I have Monday off. You know, this is like how addiction creeps up on you and how you kind of justify what you're about to do on a subconscious level. That Saturday came, I had a 6-hour session, and I took something called kratom, which is like a plant-based opioid that comes from like Malaysia. And since I was on that, I didn't realize the pain I was doing to myself from a 6-hour fap session. So I just kept going at it and didn't stop for, again, 6 hours from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. I remember this distinctly. And that's where things got messed up, because at the time, like, the urinary issues progressed to like where instead of waking up like at the end of 6 hours, it progressed to where I was waking up like every 2 hours, like toward the end of my college years. And then after that 6-hour session, it fell. I don't know, because I like refused to have a clock in my room to kind of put my mental state in a worse state. Like, but it felt like every 15 to 30 minutes I was waking up to pee, which is honestly ridiculous, which destroyed my energy levels, my mental health. Again, with working a lot, that was just devastating. And again, the worst part of all of this is knowing that I did it to myself, you know? Okay, so let me dial it back a bit, because we got like a lot of information overload there. 16, when I first took the Vicodins and I had that 4-hour fap session, that was actually truly like the spiritual start of this whole hard flaccid journey, because again, that put in my mind, deep in my subconscious, like long fap sessions. I can do an edging session and it'll feel good. 17 is kind of when things like I started ramping up my fapping sessions, but I didn't have hard flaccid yet. Everything was good on that front. 18, I continue on with it, and everything ramps up in terms of like me fapping more. And finally, I got like for sure hard flaccid 18 and a half. 19, it picks up more. 20, it continues to pick up more, and I have that weird swelling. 21, I ramped down on the fapping, but I still have hard flaccid. Urinary issues are worse. The whole pain issues are slightly less because I'm fapping less. And then 22, when I was in college, I had that 6-hour fap session, so that just destroyed my sleep because the urinary issues like peaked there. But yeah, guys, in terms of like pain, like the pain was at its worst in my opinion when I was 19 years old, because I fapped kind of more regularly, or edged more regularly, and then I was more active with friends, and wore clothing that kind of made the pain worse. And I don't know. Yeah, it just, I distinctly remember the pain was at its worst when I was 19, and that really got to me in my attitude and changed my personality a bit. And then, so yeah, 22, the 6-hour fap session, urinary issues worse. I get toward the end, like it's about a year after I took that vow that I broke. Probably relapsed, I don't know, probably 8 times within a year, but they were bad relapses again. And also when I say relapse, it's not just one time. It'd probably be like a weekend, you know, a weekend. Sometimes, like sometimes I'd fap for a weekend. Sometimes it was legitimately just one time I failed. But yeah, I get to 22. I'm approaching 23, like a few months off from turning 23. And this is where my conviction is just so built up. I think to myself, that's it. I am truly done doing this to myself. Something has to change. Otherwise, I will legit die from this condition. Probably because like some kidney failure, because my urinary issue gets so bad that because I would dribble out pee. Like after an edging session, I would legitimately, and I'm sorry for like how everything's all haphazard and unfocused here. I'll like have a focused section of the video where I talk about all the symptoms, but yeah, my pee would just dribble out after an edging session. And then urine flow was sometimes even split. Like if I actually had a very bad or long fap session, my urine flow would be split, which really scared the shit out of me, because when I'd pee, it'd go into like 2 streams, and it wouldn't last long. It'd probably be for like a few hours after like a bad fap session. So it wasn't like it was like staying constant regularly. But again, that was something that was very alarming, very scary. And yeah, so I knew at 22, few months off, approaching 23, something has to change. I really need to stop doing this. So I really changed everything. I didn't vow to myself this time, but I knew I'm not going to fap ever again. I'm done with this. And then I also quit weed, which was a huge both trigger for me to fap because it would arouse me, and just a bad influence on my life. Like there's a lot of people who could handle getting high and like living a functional life, but not me. I was got very lazy off it, ate a lot, made me very antisocial, made me very scared of the world. Like not just the paranoia while you're high, but like even when I not be high, like the next day, I was very like unsociable. Like I'm a very friendly guy. Like I'm shy, but I like to like say hi to people. I like to have conversations with them. It might take me like 30 seconds to warm up or gather the courage to like go up to someone, but I love people, you know, and it'd make me very, again, just scared of people. Like I was very like socially anxious, which is very uncharacteristic of me. So I quit weed, I quit fapping, and this was a great time in my life, guys. I'm very actually nostalgic for this era, because quitting all of that at once gave me this like huge boost in energy and happiness. And I quit that job that was like giving me a lot of stress too, so there was that factor too. I moved into a job where randomly one of my good friends was at that job. I had no idea he was working there. And so, and it was a bunch of like young 20-year-olds working there too at the time. So there was like this great social aspect of work. I was getting into like learning about investing, finding channels like Graham Stephan, who he gives very like good basic investing advice if you're first starting out into investing. So I was like grateful at the time to learn about that. So I had a lot of like positive things going for me. I just got took over the lease on a car that my family had, and I paid that off. So like I just outright owned the car, and I was proud of that. Um, Again, I had a good head on my shoulders, and I was very optimistic, guys. It was a great start to this 30-month no-fap journey, which I don't know. I think it was a key to all of this was that I had such a great start. I had such a great increase in energy and mood that it propelled me to like stick with it, you know, because you do get cravings, but I kind of thought, no, I don't want to give up this joy and this happiness for the little things in life, and like this energy that I have for like a FAP session that I know is one gonna drain my energy, and two just gonna leave me in pain, flare up the hard flaccid, and I started to truly believe like I gotta stick with the no FAP. I know for sure this is gonna heal me. Like I felt it in my bones since I was 19, truly. That if I just like at the time when I was 19, I thought if I just quit for 2 to 3 months, this will all go away. And I want to stress that to you guys who might be very early in your hard flaccid journey and very young, like any of you guys who are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, guys, just quit for like a few months, truly. Like, don't even look at Instagram. Give it your all and not even looking at Instagram. Don't arouse yourself. You will bounce back from this quickly. Like, I'm 28 now, and I realize like all that stuff said about like, oh, when you're young you'll heal from stuff fast, it's so true. Like, I am not, like, I'm still young and feel like honestly 28's young. Anyone who says 30 is old is like, bro, you have bad habits that make you feel old, you know what I mean? But truly at like 17, 18, 19 years old, your body is just like this incredible machine that's so good at self-repairing itself. Just give it the ammo and the tools to be able to do that, you know? And again, even if you're a guy who's like 45 but you just had this condition come on, I would say if you have up to like 6 months, possibly a year, for you to turn this all around very quickly before it becomes like a chronic condition. If you're less than, I want to say like 22, you have probably like a 2-year grace period. Because yeah, I really felt, possibly 3, because I really felt like even when I was in college and my thing would swell up, you know, and I was 20 years old because that was my 3rd year in college, I really felt like I probably could have bounced back within like 4 to 6 months during that time if I just stopped fapping. So again, don't like really put yourself into kick yourself in the butt and light that fire under your ass. That stop doing this to yourself, man. Honestly, like this, again, as you can see from this journey, this is all on me. I have no one to blame, and I feel like a lot of you guys can relate to this. There's a very small sliver of people with this condition where they're truly unfortunate in the fact that, I don't know, like I read one story of a guy who got jumped, and when he got jumped, like they were just actually like curb stomping his groin area, and that's how that guy got hard flaccid. But the guys who are kind of deluding themselves, like, oh, I got this deadlifting, I'm like, bro, that is... Come on, deadlift. If that were the case, so many guys would have hard flaccid. So many guys are in the gym deadlifting heavier than you, and you're the one who got hard flaccid from this. Like, come on, quit. Start being honest with yourself, because like maybe deadlifting's the thing that broke the straw on the camel's back for your condition, but really what I think is more at play here is you didn't realize your fapping condition is bad, and maybe you weren't edging like me, but you were fapping every day for over 10 years without a break, sitting for long periods of time, and deadlifting with possibly bad form. Yeah, of course something's gonna break eventually, you know, like it's again a multifaceted condition. So for people to just blame this on deadlifting is just, I don't know. It's short sighted, but I want to quit ranting about that. Everyone's got their things, and I'm just saying, don't bury your head in the sand. Look at your life, your habits. Take full responsibility for everything, because that's part of the recovery. That's how you get better. And going back to my timeline on the NoFap progress. Uh, so yeah, I have a good few months, and the constant pain that I had with hard flaccid really went away very quickly. I want to say within 1, 2, possibly, yeah, probably just 1 to 2 months, really, of sticking on a very clean no fab journey where I wasn't even looking at Instagram, nothing to arouse me, lived my life, not seeking arousal. Constant pain went away. Still had the turtling though. Still had urinary issues. Still was waking up to pee. So there's that. But yeah, the pain went away quickly. And yeah, so but I'm sorry. When I had a wet dream though, the pain would instantly come back and flare me up for anywhere from like 3 days to 3 weeks. Like that was the only time I ever had any sense of arousal was a wet dream, which would also destroy my energy level for about a day, which likely came from the fact that it'd wake me up in the middle of the night and it'd be super tough for me to fall back asleep. So it's part of it's that. But yeah, that would continue on for till the 18-month mark. And I know this is where it kind of confuses a lot of you guys, because it's like, well, what's the progress of your recovery? I was kind of in this limbo state, or this, not limbo, but like this plateau where, again, a few months into NoFap, I'm just have the same symptoms from like month 3 to like 18, where it's like, again, no pain, turtling of the penis, urinary issues, constant need to pee if I drink like too much too quickly. But again, no real pain. Nothing feels tight. I never even got that golf ball feeling that people describe in their like rectum area. So there was none of that. But yeah, no urethra pain that I used to have. No like any nerve pain that would jolt through me. Occasionally when I was like 19 and it felt like, I don't know, like electric sensation almost running through my urethra, or at times it felt my urethra was like a line or something. That's the only way I could describe it, and it was gonna snap. All of that was gone. So really just the urinary issues, the look of hard flaccid, and yeah, the turtling of the penis was what I had from month 3 to 18. And oh, sorry. And then the wet dreams flaring me up for like anywhere from 3 to 3 weeks. And so what happened at 18 is like I started to notice, just seemingly out of nowhere, I looked at my penis, was like, whoa, this looks normal. Like, and honestly at the time, it took me by surprise, because even like when you're watching porn guys, like their penises are not fucking normal looking, honestly. Like if you pay attention, some of those guys even have hard flaccid. And they're using like a bunch of like Cialis or Viagra and stuff to kind of hold and sustain their erection. But yeah, man, if you pay attention to like, I only watch like the mainstream stuff, like you guys know, like those sites that everyone memes on, and it has the funny logo, like those type of sites. Like the professional stuff, not like the amateur stuff. But you'll see those guys do like have some deformity or like some hard flaccid themselves. So when I finally saw mine, woke up one day and saw mine and it looked like actually normal, I was kind of taken back, because I hadn't seen normal in like 6 years. And so what was the 18 mark? How old was I? I was like 24 approaching 25, something like that. So yeah, it was, again, a good 5.5 to 6 years of having hard flaccid. So yeah, where am I going with this? Yeah, 18 month. Oh, okay. And then, so I was thinking things were good, but again, I was really committed to NoFap. I was really committed to the idea of how much energy it was giving me, and how joyous life had become, that I didn't even care to like, okay, well, I'm good now, well, I'm gonna fap. And I was like, nah, I'm like, I don't care about that anymore. And I also know that there's probably still underlying addiction there, which I'm gonna get into like a bit later. Um, so yeah, month 20 comes, and I remember this very distinctly. One of my good buddies comes back, and we go out on Friday that night. Like, go to it was a cool like outside bar in like a business complex area. I don't Very cool area. Really cool spot. And I remember just like, I didn't even drink, and I had so much energy, and I had something like 5 wet dreams that week. I had something like 2 on one night, 2 on the next night, then 1 the next. Zero flare up, zero pain, everything functioned perfectly. And when I went out to with my buddy, it was like, okay, I'm doing everything normal. Like, I'm we're out here. I'm seated on like a weird hard wooden bench thing that would like probably back in the day flare me up. I'm drinking water, but I don't have to like constantly use the bathroom. I feel like good mood, so my mental health is good. All of this like really solidified in my head. I am cured of this 100%. I have no issue with anything. And so my nofap streak ended up being 30 months long. And again, what also solidified me that I was 100% cured was, unfortunately, when I relapsed from nofap, I had a month where I binged. I binged for, yeah, about a month. And it was a disgusting binge. Like, I had sessions where I do 3 hours in one day, wait a few hours, do another 3 hours, and then wait a few hours, and then do another 3 hours. So I got up to like 9 hours some days. And I did this for a month, and I had no hard flaccid. So this solidified. However, I do want to really emphasize that there was one day where I think I had a 6-hour session, and then I had some turtling after the session, and I thought to myself, oh shit, did I just put myself back in a hard, like, did I get this again? Am I like in trouble again? And then fortunately it went away in a day. Everything functioned smoothly, everything's good. So, but it put in my head, which is I might make one more video about hard flaccid, like saying you can put yourself in hard flaccid, you can get hard flaccid again. And there's been guys who have done this where they've cured themselves. They got it later, and then it's a cycle of them getting it, them curing it, falling back into bad habits, falling back into edging, or maybe they take some antidepressant and they get hard flaccid again. So that's why, guys, I'm super into nofap. That's why this whole channel is like a nofap semen retention thing, because that 30-month journey, me curing myself, me going through all this, just changed my whole perspective. That don't even care about fapping anymore. I don't even want to risk the addiction happening again, me falling into using it as like a coping mechanism for life, all of that. Like, I'm just done with that. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to give myself the opportunity to get hard flaccid again. So yeah, guys, that's my story. That's my timeline. 5 to 6 years of having hard flaccid, 18 months to cure it, and of pure nofap. Didn't really do anything else. Even though I preach PT and walking and all the strengthening and stretching, I didn't do that on my recovery. Why I preach it is because I feel like it would progress everything that I did. Like, my timeline from 18 months would have been reduced down by half to 9 months to 13 months had I done everything that I listed in my video. Like, if I did the relaxation, if I did this, like, found a pelvic floor PT, if I walked more at the time. Well, I was walking a lot because at like college the classes were far away and stuff, so I did do that. But yeah, like, all the other stuff, it really would have just accelerated the timeline of my recovery. I still truly believe with all of my heart that at the end of the day, all of this revolves around just letting your penis rest, just quit inflicting trauma on it, so that it can finally rest and allow the body to heal itself. because you can do all the stretching, strengthening, all of that, but you don't let it rest and you continue to fap. Even if you're doing it for like a normal person, like 5 minutes, and not these like degenerate long hour-long sessions like I did of edging, I still think you will not progress. I still think you won't recover from this. Like, you need to let it finally rest. It's an overuse injury. There's a video on my Patreon of like even doctors talking about this. There's a great quote by one of them saying like, if you're trying to masturbate with hard flaccid, it's like playing hopscotch on a broken leg. And I always wrote this in forums back in the day that this is like a pitcher who sprains his shoulder and he's continuing to throw pitches, but he's like, oh, but I'm going to PT, bro. It's like, no, at one point you need both the PT, but you also just need a rest. You need to stop, and then you can go back to throwing 300 pitches a day. So this is, again, why I'm so into NoFap. This is the way out of all of this, guys. Give it your all on that, honestly. Like, quit lying to yourself that it's not. Quit trying to delude yourself that you could still be doing it. Sure, there's maybe like a few people here and there who are like, I did this therapy, shockwave therapy, and I still fapped and I'm fine. Or I did pelvic PT and I was still fapping and I'm fine. Cool, good for you. But I think 80% of the people out there, they need to stop and just let the thing rest. Like, quit. Don't rob that of people. Honestly, that really pisses me off when people like people, not just me, but other people who share their story, who believe in the whole overuse injury and abstinence is the way. And there's like naysayers who are like, oh, well, I cured myself this way and I still fapped. Good for you. Like, don't rob people of the opportunity and chance to heal themselves. Like, what do they have to lose? 5 to 15 minutes of pleasure? Like, I don't know. Fuck out of here, honestly. Like, just let people have this fire build in within them, and like let the conviction build and let them do what they know deep down they should be doing. And that's to quit like fapping, quit putting yourself in this hell. Try to find a way out by pure force of will and not touching your penis unless it's to pee or anything. And I assure you, 80% of you out there are going to cure yourself of this. Do it however long it takes. It took me 18 months. I know there are some guys who like have fought with me on this on forums back in the day who are like, I had a no-fap streak of 7 months. It didn't do anything. Yeah, me too. Me too. 7 months, I was still not cured of hard flaccid. I was still flaring up for weeks at a time from wet dreams. But I stuck to my convictions. I knew this was the way out, and it ended up being the way out for me. It took 18 months, longer than it should have, because again, I wasn't doing pelvic PT. I wasn't strengthening my muscles in the pelvic area region, or not pelvic area region, but like surrounding area, like glutes and stuff like that. I wasn't relaxing and reducing the emotional trauma of it all. I wasn't attempting to do the deep squat like I advocate for. I wasn't doing acupuncture, which I advocate for. So all of this could have accelerated faster, but I still got out, man. I still am out, and I'm so grateful for being out, and I'm grateful for you guys giving me the opportunity to be able to help you. I like, that's the only good that came out of all of this, that I can help others and share my story, and really feel like I'm doing good in the world, in the sense that there's others suffering, and it sucks you guys are suffering, but I can at least lift you guys up, you know, and try and help you get out of this, and that's the only redemption I have in this, you know. Otherwise, it's like, what was this all for if I never came back and tried to like help somebody, you know? It just lost years of my life, like regret of my life. Like, so yeah, thank you guys for pushing me to making this video. I actually do appreciate it, honestly. Like, again, everything I said, otherwise, like, that whole journey would have been for vain, for nothing, if I never came back to help you guys. Again, I might, maybe, I don't know when I will, if I ever will, make that last video of you can get hard flaccid again. like a warning video. It is going to be negative based because it's going to be telling you again what you shouldn't be doing, which is not really a popular video people like to see or hear on YouTube when someone tells them what not to do. But if it could save even one of you guys who get out of this, but then like put yourself back in hard flaccid, if I can prevent that from happening to you, then like I'll feel like I've done some good. But yeah, guys, any questions you got, hit me up in the comments. Please, guys, please, one thing I ask of you is please keep any hard flaccid questions you have in this video or the other two videos. Do not ask them on my semen retention or no fap videos, because what ends up happening is the majority of people who come to the hard flaccid and need help on hard flaccid, they're not going to watch the no fap videos. And if you ask me like 5 videos down the line on a no fap video about hard flaccid, that's going to get missed by like 99% of the viewers. And you're essentially gatekeeping that knowledge to yourself. You're not allowing others the opportunity to see like the question you ask and the answer I'm giving. And so it's not going to like help other people. So please keep those comments on this video, any hard flaccid comment on the hard flaccid videos, so that others can benefit. Like it's a like a pooled resource almost. So don't I'm not going to allow you to, I'm not going to enable that behavior. If you ask like hard flaccid thing on a no fap video, I'm just going to outright ignore you, because I am not I'm no longer enabling that behavior. I just think it's a bit selfish, to be honest. But yeah, guys, again, scope out the Patreon. It's completely free. I put more like writings on there. Definitely a lot more focused material. This video, again, is a bit unfocused, so I apologize for that. If you want to work with me one-on-one, it's also an option over there. I have like a preview page too, where it shows like what questions I'm gonna initially ask you to get us started. Like, how did you get it? What was your journey? What are your symptoms? What's your lifestyle like? Stuff like that, you know, it's all on there. But yeah, guys, again, thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for pushing me to share my story. And I love you guys. I'm honestly rooting for all of you. I truly know how terrible this condition is, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't deny yourself that. Don't cloud your vision of it. You know, it's within your reach. It's within your grasp to overcome this all. You have it within you, and I believe in you. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.